And so here we go. What are you doing here, man? Yeah. I was thinking about snow this morning. Oh, yeah, you were, weren't you? What else were you thinking about? Everything. When I was out there shoveling, I was shoveling last night and raking the roofs, and then I got up again this morning, and what were you doing here, man? I was shoveling the walks and raking the roofs. I got home last night, and I was very happily surprised. My neighbor had swung by the house with his snowblower. We get quite a bit of snow up there in the Helderbergs, you know. Top of the Helderbergs, as a matter of fact, up there where I live or reside. And he cleared out my whole drive to the barn. It made me happy. Happy. So far, we have 4 inches of snow on the ground up there, and that's the latest fall. And my boyfriend this morning told me, he said 7 inches. That's kind of like a fishing story, ain't it? Guy walks into a bar and orders a beer. Damn! I hate it when it snows, he complains to the bartender. It makes my neighbor's yard just as good as mine. I call this whiteout. That's kind of like, you know, the story of the person that invented whiteout was a lady that got fired from her job. She took something like nail polish, white, but it was latex, and it would cover the paper and correct her mistakes because she was a bit like me, a little inept at typing. She died about 56 or something, but she made a fortune in between. The woods were white as Jack Frost's window prints. A still life hung in the hollow of the sky. Earthbound flakes floated towards the sun, dancing like motes in the drunk god's eye. Undulating, rippling mackerel, alto cumulus. I'm laughing at myself. You know, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? You could laugh at others, but there's always a finger pointing back to you. And the clouds foretold their own unraveling. Barometric pressure hummed to him, the kind that cracks the spine of things. Snowbank past the window sills. Swallowed trucks, gnawed on the fence line thin. The barn's a ghost, the outhouse is gone. Just a rope left, knotted to the skin of a world that shrinks to a stove heat, to the creak of the floorboards keeping time, cabin fever thick as tallow. We wait, we starve, we count the rind of Jack Frost that blooms on the nail heads, on the last jar of last year's canned peaches, yearning for the mud of spring rain, for the earth that shows her gums. You know, you may live in upstate New York. If somebody at the Home Depot store offers you assistance, and they don't work there, you may live in upstate New York. And if you've worn shorts and a parka at the same time, you may live in upstate New York. And if you have a lengthy telephone conversation with somebody that dialed the wrong number, well, you know where you live, upstate. If vacation means going somewhere south of Albany for the weekend, you got it. And if you measure distance in hours, you may live upstate. And if you know several people who have hit deer more than once, I lost count years ago, about 32. Man, that's a lot of dented bumpers and grills and wrecked cars. Oh, you may have hit a deer, or you may not, in a blizzard. But the great thing about upstate New York, when there's a lot of snow, you can't go too far off the road and hit a telephone post or a stop sign. Although I did hit a stop sign one time. I remember I had cabin fever, and I decided, I got to get out of this shack, and I got to go down and visit a friend in Albany where it's warm. I get out there, and the Volvo didn't have no brakes. It was an old Volvo, a 1946 or something, about as old as me. Didn't have no brakes. I pounded on the brake pedal there, and I figured, well, I better go for a snowbank. I'm halfway down the hill, way over in Westerlo, right through a stop sign. Oh, I didn't know what to do. There was a big dent in that front bumper. I said, well, I better prop that stop sign up in the snow for the next guy to come on. But now they got a blinking red light there. Yeah, About 5, 6 miles from my house, there is a blinking red light. Used to be the closest one was in Greenville, about 12 miles away. I know, I live out back. And if you switch from the potbelly stove to opening the windows in the same day, back and forth again, you may live upstate. Well, if you drive 90 miles an hour through 2 feet of snow during a raging blizzard without flinching, you know where you live. And if you install some kind of security light ring in your house and your barn, but leave both unlocked, well, upstate you are. And if you carry jumper cables in your car and pickup truck and your spouse knows how to use them, well, you're upstate material, let me tell you. I remember many a year when we designed Halloween costumes to fit over our snowsuits. And you know, the speed limit in most places upstate is 55, sometimes 65, but you're going 95 and everybody else is passing you at 110 miles an hour. Upstate material. And if you drive better in the winter because the potholes are filled with snow, you know you live in upstate New York. And you know all the 4 seasons, I certainly do. Almost winter, winter, still winter, and road constructions. And if you have more miles on your snowblower than your car, well, I certainly live in upstate New York, because I remember one time I had to get the snowblower out of the barn, blow the snow out of the driveway to the barn. Then I had to blow the snow out of the road that was leading up the hill to my driveway in order to get the car from the corner up to my place. That was all that's what you do, you know. No sense complaining. And if you find 3 degrees a little chilly, well, you know where you live, north of Albany. You know, the woods were white as Jack Frost's fingerprint. Silver spun ribbons glint in the wind, hint of a spinlet. Earthbound flakes floating, chasing low, sun's grin, tipping, tumble, drifting, whispered, murmur thin. Undulating, rippling, mackerel, alto, ooh, you gotta enunciate the words here, man. Soft blue shadows sway and play and sway and lay, and the forecast sings a low key, a hum, a barometric sigh. Pressure drops, drops real low. Mood slips and dips and slips and dips, and the sky begins to cry white flakes. Snowbanks pile past the windowsill. Pickup truck snug as a hug, and an ornament of white snow and blankets, and everything's disappeared in the back 40, including the tractor. Barns and the outhouse lose their spores, lose their doors. But you know how it is. I got that rope from the house out to the little privy, and I'm hoping the wind don't blow me off it, because I know I have somewhere to go. Yeah, it's the way it is. All ahoy. Well, we're stuck in this blank void rut, and the fire's burning low, it's embering, and I got cabin fever, melting, yearning for the mud of spring, rain to glow. Hold me close, baby. Let the heat rise in the hush of white. Or maybe it could be purple, blue, or yellow, or tan. I don't know. I got my eyes closed. They're frozen shut. 'Cause when the thaw comes, we'll be dancing. Yeah, we'll be dancing on our own grave. Winter's breath breathes a beat, soft beat, breeze so sweet. Each flake a feather, a tether, a feather together. The sky draws a sine wave, a line, a vine, a fine design, forecasting waves that crave a wild rave sunrise. Oh, let it snow. Pressure falls and the world leans, hoping towards green. Change in precipitated moods, a slow, slow, slow scene indeed. Hope I can get to that woodpile. This morning I was out there shoveling and I realized I've covered all my woodpiles deep in snow. I hold that rope tight as can be, the rope of relief, the rope of belief, while the world spins in the winds and spins in the grins beneath the sheet. That's S-H-E-E-T, by the way. Let the thaw kiss the pine, let the mud kiss the foot. Feel the rhythm of the rain, the promise of the new root.